I have to say again, and frankly, I'm the only person on YouTube saying it because I see it. I can't believe people that are telling me one thing that my eyes and my own telescope and the eyes and telescope of my fellow amateur astronomers are just seeing what the professional astronomy community are telling us is not happening. Comet Atlas is not breaking up by any extent of the imagination. And when Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 disintegrated, we had a reason. It was the planet Jupiter. A comet uses the sun for its trajectory and speed. A comet is not going to disintegrate into the sun. That just doesn't happen. And this is a returning event, so comets don't all of a sudden just disintegrate and they all of a sudden, you know, it's a comet. It keeps going back and forth around the sun in a perihelion orbit. So it uses the sun as its gravity boost. So no, it's not going to disintegrate into the sun. It's too far away to even be affected in that manner by the sun. You know, folks don't understand the measure of distances between the objects in our solar system. We were impressed, intrigued, and a bit panicky in 1994 when Comet Shoemaker-Levy, which was a comet of about 40 to 50 miles in circumference, was approaching the inner orbit. But the astronomers knew then that the comet was going to be attracted to the gravity of the planet Jupiter. So astronomers, brilliant people, know these things. It's not guesswork for them. They had models planned and they had visual aids, and they had, back in 1994, they had a command center set up, and you had press briefings for weeks before the events. You know, NASA does this. This is what NASA does. They have an entire group of people dedicated to PR and setting up auditoriums, setting up news conferences, and we're not getting any of that with one of the greatest ever astronomical events of modern astronomy occurring close to our planet. We have hundreds of high-end, high-res, sophisticated, multi-billion-dollar telescopes that are not looking at this as far as we know, because we're not getting images. We're getting some crappy, low-res, mid-level, private astronomical images, but we're not getting the good stuff, people. We are not getting the good stuff. Somebody's getting the good stuff, but it's not the public. I'm okay with it. I'm not cutting anybody down. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Don't get me wrong. I just want you to pay attention, because people keep commenting in my comment section. Come on, loony man. What's wrong with you? Part of the world you from, dummy? Let me post this article. Brother, I've analyzed that article. I know what's going on. I've been on top of this, if you pay attention to my channel, for a long time. I'm getting good people's attention, but I just try to get everybody's attention with this. So please like the video, please share it, please get it out there, please get people asking the question, not to the government, but just for their own preparation. And the only thing that I am asking out of all of this, the only thing that I want out of all of this, is you to reconnect to your spirituality. I don't care what it is. I don't care what form it takes. Just as long as you acknowledge a creator, because you're about to meet him, and not in a dramatic way as you're about to die, but there's about to be a rendezvous. That's the only reason that this can be happening without the government just being freaked out, without Donald Trump being on the airwaves screaming something and, I got my space command in place for this, just for this event. He's not saying a thing about this because he knows what's up. And I want you to as well. So all I'm asking is just reestablish a connection to your spirituality, because the Creator created all these religions and these prophecies. He didn't want just one religion. He wanted the whole planet to have free will. All of the humans to have free will, not just to acknowledge just one huge being, but to acknowledge your own image of what the Creator is and who He is, and connect to that. And it's okay, whoever it is, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jewish, Catholic, those are the three Abrahamic faiths, three. And if you're Hopi, you're not greater or lesser than the Jews. You're equal too, because you have carried your prophecies through. Please understand the power of your nation. Are the Hopi a better nation? Are they a chosen nation amongst the Indians? Clearly. They have been given special prophecy, and they have maintained it. They haven't given it up. They are in the worst part of America to try to raise crops. They raise dry crops because that's what the ancestors and the Creator instructed them to do. And they have passed on traditions, and they are the ones that have given us the definitive point of the end of the fourth age and the beginning of the fifth age. So the Hopi and what's happening now are all connected. The people in my comments section know what's going on, except the one or two. Oh boy, look at him, loony. It's your tinfoil hat, boy. You're going to want to get that tinfoil and make it around a box, a cardboard box, for the EMP that's coming, the electromagnetic pulse. The EMP is going to be devastating, and it's going to short circuit everything that is electronic. I hope some things that are in a Faraday cage will prevent some equipment being damaged, because for several months we're going to be back, as it is said in the Hopi tradition, as is said in the Islamic tradition, we're going to be going back to our native ways, the way of life that is natural. The natural way of life. So if you're in a big city and suddenly we have a big EMP and you're on the natural way of life, everything electronic that runs in a city is going to stop running. Elevators, air conditioners, water pumps, everything's going to stop. Buses, taxis, subways, all the power generating companies are going to suffer an electromagnetic pulse. And so they're all going to be without power. So sometime in May, whenever Comet Swan comes through and does what it's supposed to do, which is deliver a big old EMP, it's going to make a big noise, and then it's going to deliver the EMP, and then we're going to be back to our natural way of life. We can survive. It's going to be tough, but the Creator is going to get our attention before He comes and gives us talking to and changes our way of life. We're going to realize how good we've had it. And yeah, you're going to have to kill for your meals. You're going to have to understand. All of you people are like, oh, we need to get back with nature. We need to get close to nature again. After this EMP hits, you're going to be really close to nature. And you're going to be hungry. And you're going to learn to survive. It's going to be tough. So have 2 to 4 months worth of supplies ready. All right? I keep talking about the news. Here is NBC News talking about the moments before Shoemaker-Levy 9 hits Jupiter. Look at all the buildup. Look at all the press. Look at all the discussions they're having. Here, NBC News, roll tape.
Well, designing a tomato is one thing for science. Keeping track of what's happening on Jupiter, that's another matter altogether. But American scientists these days are keeping a large eye on the distant planet because it's about to be involved in a cosmic collision. Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
A stunning view of the Shoemaker-Levy comet taken by the Hubble Space Telescope and released by NASA today. Scientists call its 21 pieces the string of pearls. And as this computer simulation shows, they're on a collision course with the planet Jupiter, expected to hit starting July 16th and for the next 5.5 days. But the view as it will be from Earth will be frustrating. All the collisions occurring just out of sight on the backside of Jupiter. Astronomers must depend on the spacecraft Galileo, which has a different view for the only actual pictures at the moment of each impact. Scientists have modeled a scenario of how the comet's pieces may break up as they plunge through Jupiter's atmosphere, and have modeled what they believe may be a huge fireball as each piece disintegrates. Co-discoverer of the comet, Eugene Shoemaker.
We're talking about 100 million megatons of kinetic energy. 100 million megatons.
Equal to the explosion of nearly 2 million nuclear bombs, which may have little effect on the huge gaseous planet Jupiter, but if it were hitting the Earth.
I think we're talking about the kind of event that's associated with mass extinctions of species on Earth. That is really and truly a global catastrophe. It might not take out the human race, but it would certainly be very bad times.
So while scientists are thrilled at the prospect of charting what happens on Jupiter, they're even more thrilled it's all happening 450 million miles away. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
I mean, they had everything. Where it was going to hit, how it was going to hit, the magnitude, all right? At the end, he said 450 million miles away, and one of these fragments that is a mile or two wide hitting Jupiter is going to have a multi-billion ton nuclear impact, kinetic impact. And that is just devastating. You saw what it did to Jupiter, which is the largest planet in our solar system, and is way bigger. I think it's like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 Earths fit into Jupiter. So Jupiter's ginormous, and now this thing, which we've been told is either hundreds of kilometers wide or half the size of the sun. We have several reports in news media, in printed news media. So somebody with authority has released this information to Daily Mail, to the Express, and these are both English publications. We have zero in American publications about Comet Atlas, about Comet Swan, about Comet Catalina. So those three comets, which are significant and very close to planet Earth and in very unusual orbits, have gotten zero information and attention from the U.S. news media, and we've gotten sporadic stuff in world media, and the British media is the only one that's spoken of anything. And to get a little bit of "I told you so" out of these people who commenting, saying it's broken up into fragments, this thing's in pieces out there, it's going to the sun. No, like I keep telling everybody, it's not broken up into fragments. It has launched something. So there are two things out of there that came as one. So an aircraft carrier launches an aircraft, a big aircraft sometimes. So this very big object has launched another very big object. So it's two fragments is what they're calling it in the news. And that's just so manipulative. Do you understand? The media is manipulating how you think and feel about this, these fragments now. 2-3 weeks ago, it was half the size of the sun, and now this thing just broken up into two fragments. So there's clear misinformation. There's clear manipulation in the information pipeline. So that just has to let you know that something eventful is about to happen. And it's going to be a controlled event. So here is the Express UK, that this is released today, April 20th. Comet Atlas images reveal two fragments of Comet Y4 racing towards the sun. And no, it's not racing towards the sun, it's just doing its orbit. So one part of Comet Atlas is coming towards us, that's Comet Swan, and then the other part of Comet Atlas, which is Nibiru, which is the main big, huge, half the size of the sun object, is doing its orbit and going to go around the sun under the Earth And as has been stated again and again and again by all of the models that have been released, it's going to be on the eastern side of the planet Earth, and it's going to be a Bethlehem star come December 25th. So it's going to be a bright eastern star. It's going to be a six-pointed blue star. It's going to be fabulous. But around May is when Swan is going to enter Earth's orbit. And then if you do any kind of Google searches, and I expect you to do some Google searches of Comet, Swan, Earth orbit, you're going to see all the press releases keep talking about Comet, Swan, Earth orbit. So they're preparing us, and there's a lot of people in the space community that knows what's happening, and you know, they're trying to leak as much information as possible. So, no, it was a big lie that Comet Atlas burst into fragments. And it is the big truth that there are two parts of Comet Atlas. One part is going on its trajectory, and we're still going to see it beautifully and brightly over the next several months. The closer it gets to the sun, the bigger and beautiful and the brighter and the bluer it's going to be. Blue or greenish, because the close-up images that we've been able to, and I feel like an X-Files episode. I really do. I feel like an X-Files episode, because there's a private astronomical community that's really paying attention, and the photos that we are developing and we are seeing of Comet Atlas is it's a fuzzy planet Earth. We see green and blue, fuzzy green and blue images surrounded by a nebula of power, and I gotta get this word in my head. The fourth state of matter is oh, somebody's going to help me here. I know somebody's screaming at the monitor. Plasma. So there's a giant plasma ball around a bluish greenish globe, a bluish greenish ball. That is what we're seeing Comet Atlas to be. And you are seeing, when you see it in the sky at night, you are seeing a bluish greenish dot out there that is very sparkly. So it's pretty incredible what's happening. I think, and I keep postulating, that it's planet Nibiru, and it has green and blue. It has water, and it has green like the planet green has. So what we're seeing is almost a mirror image of the planet Earth, but fuzzy. And so, again, very exciting times. Take care of yourselves. I try to post something every day. Please leave positive comments below, helpful comments. If you try to blow out my candle, I am happily going to delete your comment, and I enjoy it. So all of your keyboard worry or stuff out there, I just give it a good click and delete it, and goodbye. All right, guys. Thank you so much. The misinformation out there is tremendous.